Smoke signals. Hey, y'all. Yes, buildings must burn. They must. And I will tell you why. I started today, a second day in the row, with a massive headache, one of the worst I've experienced in a long time. It's better this morning, and it was accompanied by an ice pack, just keeping my head cool and not succumbing to, just a nasty headache. But it was of the day. Today, yesterday, the day before, mainly yesterday. In the events of the day, the anger of the day, the sorrow of the day, the anxiety of the day, I just felt this continuous droning pain. And pain is carried in various places for us individually. For some, when they feel hurt or stressed, they feel it in their hands. Some feel it in their heart, in their stomach. I get headaches. And the right side of my brain was just kicking my skull and my eyeball to the point where I just had to shut down. And that was my yesterday. What was also my yesterday was the deluge of emails, messages on Facebook, overall stories, the volume of, quote, "I'm not racist. Let me tell you about my Black friend" type stories. Please stop tagging me in those stories. I love you, but I will not validate you. Stop using me to give others the impression that you aren't either A, racist, which I would imagine that being the worst version, or B, that you don't live in your privilege, which is either dishonest or delusional. I am not here to elevate you out of the work you have to do. Telling stories of how our relationship, your relationship with me and my relationship with you makes your life better is indeed wonderful. Don't get me wrong. It is wonderful. And I likely feel the same way. But telling stories of how my relationship with you makes your life better because it absolves you of some shame or guilt around remaining quiet when racism is illuminated is not a relationship I am willing to have. Better to do the work of an ally and show up for me than to use me as a badge of Blackness. Do the work of an ally. Speak to other white people from your place of privilege against injustice and inequality. Vote out politicians and representatives who clearly do not carry the interest of all citizens. Listen more and speak less when you feel the urge creep up on you to compare your experiences in America with people of color. There isn't a version of your life harder or more complicated than a person who lives with less privilege. If you are a person 60 years and older, and you have a story of the one or two Black friends you had in the 80s or earlier, or the childhood friend you had when it was unpopular or even illegal to have a Black friend, and you claim you didn't see color, you didn't have a Black friend. If you can say I had a Black friend, but I did not see color, you did not have a Black friend. You had a project. And that Black person had a white person in their life who did nothing to create change or impact in their life. Now, you may ask, you may say, well, how do you know? How do you know if I had a Black friend or not? And how could you say that person wasn't my friend or not? Well, if you were children and when you were kids, were you permitted to sleep over at their house? Did you have an interest in sleeping over at their house? Were they invited to sleep in your house? And if you were adults, did you contribute to the effort of change in their life? Did you bring anything to the relationship that did more than allow you to say, I have a Black friend? If you had a Black friend, and you were aware of their Blackness, you were then aware of the limitations their life embodied based on their color. You would be aware of the fact they likely endured busing, massive resistance, urban renewal, Jim Crow laws, redlining, terrorism of white folks, hooded or not. You would be aware that Reaganomics hit a little bit differently among Black folks, and that the 3 strikes rule was designed to imprison more Black men for free labor across America. You would be aware that your friend likely did not own their own home or had trouble securing a home loan, had a harder time securing a quality education, and employment was limited to jobs in service and labor and paid far less than their white counterparts, even if they held the same position. That is your friend. Your friend was told to live in communities you didn't have to worry about. Your friend was told to go to schools in a way that you didn't have to worry about. Your friend was instructed to sip water and eat meals in particular places in a way that you did not have to worry about. Racism isn't just whether or not you use slurs to demean a person. It is the privilege you have to either erase me from your daily life, deliberate or not, as well as the ability to infuse me into your life at will. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you and your white friends get together, do you talk about the racial events of the day without the presence of a Black person? On your own, do you discuss what's happening in the world, the conditions of Black America, among Latinos, the First Nation issues in America, if any of those people aren't in your presence? You can pick and choose when racism is a problem. On your own, you couldn't be bothered, but bring me into the mix. And now it's a matter for discussion. It's a matter to be addressed. How can you take action on your own? That's what we want to know. If you begin a sentence, I have a Black friend who, you don't have a Black friend. Are you hiding that person? Are you willing to bring them out when it's useful for you? Another example, cops kill an unarmed Black person. Crickets. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't touch your life. It doesn't worry you to the point where you hold your children closer. It doesn't force you to be mindful of your interaction with police officers. Black people protest and burn buildings because then it involves you. And then you have an opinion, as you should. Watching something that we've built become destroyed is hard to watch. And you absolutely should be in your feelings about that. I get that. But be a mother, a father, a community, a race for whom we have built worlds in a country not chartered for our success. When we watch what we've built is destroyed, we know that is not coming back. That life that is destroyed is not coming back. There isn't an insurance policy on the planet that can replace a life. So when you get wrapped up in your own indignation over a building that can be replaced with things inside that can be replaced, give thought to why that building is burning and what started that fire. With an understanding of why the buildings must burn, and they must burn, answer honestly, would the life lost register in your life were it not for that burning building? Smoke signals. Good old-fashioned basic communication. Smoke signals. The buildings must burn because it is of value to those who must listen, and you must listen. You must listen to the mothers whose sons bleed out in the street, and you must listen to the fathers who cry because their daughters have been shot in their own beds by police who enter at will and without cause. You must listen when we say we are afraid for our lives in a way that you will never know. You must listen, and the smoke signals will accompany our voice. So yes, the buildings must burn. If it's the only way you will listen and see us and our Blackness, smoke signals, the buildings must burn. And if a change comes, and we do want the change to come, if lives can be saved, if justice and equality can be realized, the smoke signals can stop. The three most important documents to America and Americans: the Holy Bible, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, none of which was written for my existence or my salvation. The Holy Bible was used to enslave my people. The Declaration of Independence did not recognize my people as human. The Constitution, an antiquated document which needs to be rewritten from top to bottom, includes the freedom of my people as a conditional afterthought, an amendment voted upon and carries clauses that ensures the inequity of my people. Smoke signals, the three most important documents that shaped the principles of this country, would rather I did not exist. Because I do, racist policies, laws, and practices are designed to make our lives incredibly difficult here. And so, yes, the buildings must burn. Smoke signals.